After Mega Man 8 came out in 1997, classic Mega Man fell off the grid for a while. Oh sure, there were still plenty of X Games, Zero Games, Legends, ZX, and Battle Network, but the classic series was stillborn for the time being aside from Mega Man Base, which I don't have at the moment, and to be honest with you, I've never beaten that game, so I'm hesitant to go back. That is, until 2008, over 10 years later when Capcom announced they were returning to the Mega Man series, but they'd be going back to its 2D roots. Now, that's not a knock on the game, it's probably for the best that we get back to 2D roots, and this is the style the classic series is most known for. But it was only a downloadable title, which is a bit of a shame. Fortunately, you can get the Legacy Collection, so I recommend that. We're doing both Mega Man 9 and 10 today, so we're going to start with Mega Man 9 first. The story opens with a shot telling us that the world is peaceful, but then robots begin going berserk, and Dr. Wily has set up Dr. Light to be responsible. You'd have to be a total idiot to actually fall for this, and yet, they do. Maybe that's the intention, that everybody has to be an idiot for this to work. But I don't think 8-Bit Plus were that formulaic back then. Never mind, let's just get started. You haven't done this in a while. Yeah, it's been 11 years, then it was 2 years, and then it was 8 years after that. But yeah, let's get started. All 8 Robot Masters are available, and ooh, a female Robot Master. That's cool. While Mega Man plays like he did in the 8-bit games, he controls nicely, jumps great, and what's this? I can't slide or charge my buster? I don't necessarily like this. Supposedly, from what I can find, Inafune felt that they made the game too easy, which is not something that I can agree with. I don't like the idea of taking away abilities. The slide especially allowed for quicker movement and tighter level design. However, the new weapons you get in this game are amazing. I love the Black Hole Bomb. It sucks up everything, and the Jewel Satellite has got to be the best shield in the entire classic series. It just blocks everything. The Hornet Chaser is fantastic for long-range combat. You can use it to grab items, the Laser Trident pierces shields, rushes back to using the Rush Coil and Rush Jet, thank God. The game is designed around the lack of charge shot inside, but we must move forwards, not backwards. Oh, we have screws again. Not those big screws like in Mega Man 8. Just get the screws and buy things from the shop, that's how I like it. Energy tanks are back, and I'm so glad they are. You can also get a mystery tank, though you can only carry one at a time. Definitely buy the energy balancer. Just don't buy Rolls Change a costume. 200 screws for her to wear a Mega Man 8 outfit? So not worth it. Alright, let's begin with the stages. I started with Galaxy Man Stage. Galaxy Man Stage introduces you to these robots that grab and drag you, so you have to time your reflexes accordingly. Just don't do it next to a wall of spikes. Galaxy Man is really easy to fight. Just get moving so that when his black hole starts sucking up, you can shoot him while he's standing there. After you beat him, you get a cutscene. The police have taken Dr. Light into custody, which is typical. Civilians are always stupid in fictional stories. Of course, Mega Man knows it's Wily behind this, so he's off. Next up, we'll do Jewel Man Stage. I mostly remember this stage for the incredibly annoying mini-boss. Fortunately, he does have a pattern that takes some getting used to. Of course, Jewel Man is easy enough because all you have to do is suck up his jewels with a black hole. 2 down, 6 to go. Next, we'll do Plug Man Stage. This stage contains screws and screws galore. Also, the return of disappearing and reappearing blocks, and you have to do these since Rush will crash into them. This took some memorization. Plugman is easy enough, just hit him with the Jewel Satellite. His attacks even bounce off the shield. Next up is Tornado Man. I mostly remember this stage for the really cool effect of the rotating platforms. Then the second half, you have rain to deal with, which impacts your jumps. Tornado Man is simple enough, just make sure the plug balls bounce into him. Following that, you get another cutscene where Mega Man returns to auto-enroll, and they tell him that the piece of scrap from the robot has been past its expiration date. Now what could this mean? Enough about plot. Back at it. Now we'll do Magna Man. Very tight jump to catch onto a ladder. I mostly remember this stage for the mini-boss. It's fun using the Black Hole Bomb to suck it up. Magma Man is weak to the tornado blow, but chances are you won't finish him, so you gotta do the rest of the job yourself. Oh, now auto upgrades Rush, which is weird. He's always had that ability. Well, next I did Hornet Man Stage, which is filled with scissors enemies, spikes, and platforms you have to shoot to get out. I also remember the mini-boss was very fun to fight. Of course, using the Magma Bazooka on Hornet Man makes the fight a cinch. Next up, we'll tackle Splash Woman Stage. It's largely underwater, which means underwater physics are back. No more swimming. It means I can jump to get this one up just fine. And then there's a part that reminds me of Mega Man 5. Splash Woman is easy enough, although I really wish I had the slide for some of her attacks. Now finally, that leaves us with Concrete Man. Mostly I remember this level for the elephant mini-boss that requires a lot of timed jumps! Concrete Man is down, and finally it's time to continue the story. So Mega Man arrives home and they tell him that the robots are past their expiration date. This is very interesting world building. Was Capcom laying the seeds for what happened to the classic series characters in the X series? But anyway, Dr. Wily manipulated the robots into doing his bidding. That raises some interesting moral dilemmas, but the game doesn't really dwell on that. I mean, this is classic Mega Man. This isn't the place for thought-provoking moral dilemmas, I suppose. So whatever the case, time to tackle Wily's castle. Again. What can I say about Wily's castle? It's hard. Definitely test your platforming skills. There's this annoyingly tight jump. I mean, my god, why was that so close? There's this part where you have to use Rush Coil to jump on the ladder to the right, otherwise you will get fried. The bosses aren't too terribly challenging, but then you finally get to Dr. Wily. The first part takes some getting used to as you have to bounce the egg back at him, then hit him in his cockpit. But then you have to fight a third form, which isn't new, but you have to fight them all back to back to back. He does the disappearing and reappearing trick again. But finally you wear him down, and Mega Man will rather humorously recall all the times Wily has pleaded for mercy, which is a nice little self-aware moment the game throws at you. However, Wily takes advantage of Mega Man's naivete and tricks him into helping the Dr. Light robot. Mega Man is happy it wasn't Dr. Light, but feels bad for the poor robot. Huh. And he doesn't have free will, huh? Proto Man comes to Mega Man's rescue, and it's a happy ending as all the robots are rebuilt, so that's nice. Before we move on to Mega Man 10, there's Proto Man Mode that was made available as DLC. He has the slide and charge shot, but he takes twice as much damage and has double the knockback. So Proto Man is basically hard mode. He also doesn't get access to the shop, so he has to get E-Tanks the old-fashioned way, and you need to build up these E-Tanks to be able to beat the game as him, otherwise you could be fatally screwed when fighting the final boss. So that's Mega Man 9. It's a fun little throwback to the old days. It sold incredibly well on its first day too, and those sales convinced Capcom to revive the classic series. So just 2 years later, we got Mega Man 10. The plot of Mega Man 10 is that a robot virus has come down on robots called Robo-Enza. Among those infected is Roll. Then Dr. Wily reveals that he's also been trying to stop the virus. No, of course not. We all know he's responsible for this. But this time Proto Man decides to help Mega Man out, so for the first time you have the option of playing as either Mega Man or Proto Man, and if you download the DLC, you get to play as Bass as well. Bass has multi-directional shots, can jump dash, he can combine with treble that allows him to completely bypass certain sections. Mega Man and Proto Man play exactly the same as they did in Mega Man 9, so there's not much else to elaborate on. Fortunately, Proto Man and Bass have their own versions of the shop, but their items cost more to get than Mega Man's. I'm not sure why their shops are significantly more creepier than Mega Man's, but okay. It's also comparatively much easier to get the screws this time. So let's start with the stages. First up is Sheep Man Stage. This stage contains blocks that disappear when you step on them, but what mostly stands out is the boss. You have to keep running on the treadmill and hit it with your Mega Buster while it's glowing. Of course, with Bass, it's incredibly easy compared to Mega Man and Proto Man. Sheep Man is also the easiest boss with the Mega Buster, as he has easy to predict patterns. Pump Man Stage has these annoying waterfalls, so you need to time your jumps just right. While fighting Pump Man, I noticed how the Thunder Wool needs to be a specific set amount of distance away from the enemy for it to work. Bit annoying to use. Next up, let's do Silver Man. During this level, I discovered that the water shield is damn near almost as good as the shield satellite, as the drops of water absolutely destroy the mini-bosses incredibly easy, though you have to watch out for these annoying fireballs that come out of the wall. Of course, I beat Silver Man with the water shield pretty easily. Now it's time to do Chill Man. This stage contains annoying ice physics and enemies that come out of the ground, so you have to time your jumps accordingly. Chill Man likes to jump around, so you have to time the Silver Blast well enough. So with that, it's time for another cutscene. Dr. Light believes he can manufacture a cure, but Wily asks Mega Man if he's feeling any symptoms. Gee, that isn't suspicious at all, isn't it? Next up is Nitro Man Stage, which contains enemy trucks that come at you. so you need to time your jumps to jump over them accordingly. Sometimes they come towards you and sometimes behind you. It's just a matter of reflexes. Nitro Man likes to charge at you, but with a chill spike it's easy to just freeze him in place or make him crash into the spikes. Next up is Commando Man Stage. This stage introduces you to sandstorms, which means you have to wait for the sand to die down, otherwise you won't be making your jumps. But sometimes you have to use the jumps accordingly to get across the chasm, or you can just cheese your way past it with a jet power-up. Commando Man is a battle of reflexes. He hits you hard, but you hit him hard right back. Next, let's do Blade Man Stage. Not much to say about this stage, but it introduces you to the wheel mechanic where you have to jump back and forth. Blade Man also has a ridiculously easy pattern once you get the hang of it. Now for Strike Man. His stage is in a baseball stadium, so you get baseballs, lockers shooting at you. It's actually kind of unique, and I appreciate that. I noticed there was a part where Mega Man and Proto Man can run and gun their way through spiked baseballs, but Base can't exactly do that, so you have to use a treble boost to get around it. Strike Man is simple enough. So now Mega Man returns home, but gasp! He becomes sick to the Robo-Enza virus, and now Dr. Wily is free to take over the world because, of course, he was behind it all. All seems lost, but Roll gives Mega Man her cure, which is a nice moment. You know, this is actually the most notable thing Roll has ever done story-wise in the classic series. That's either a testament to the scene or really sad. Well, anyway, on to Wily's castle, and it is grueling. You gotta fight copies of various robot masters, then you have to deal with enemies that come out of bottomless pits, go up a trail of spikes, and if you touch a spike, you die. Fight a block devil, which is nowhere near as challenging, same as this crab enemy. Proto Man and Base get a unique cutscene after the first level where they fall sick but are instantly cured. Seems kind of pointless, really. In fact, I think this is the only cutscene that Base has besides the ending. Kinda weird. So, whatever. You defeat the 8 robot masters again, and you fight Wily, who's rocking a pirate motif for some odd reason. Okay then. Defeat him in his more powerful form, then he escapes, and this sequence is really funny. Then we get the easiest Dr. Wily final boss ever. One interesting touch is that you can actually see Wily sneezing if you look close enough. You beat him, and it turns out Wily is sick. A rather amusing moment in that Mega Man actually thinks that Wily has Robo-Enza, which is so laughably endearing. But Wily is taken to the hospital, he escapes but leaves behind the cure. Some human decency. Almost makes me forget that he's the reason the Mega Man timeline is plunged into war centuries later. But that's for another day. So Mega Man 10 is good, but it's not particularly notable, which is unfortunate. I think it was a mistake to repeat the 8-bit look. That was fine for 9, but for 10, you needed to move forward, which is why I don't mind that 11 is going with a 2.5D look. Speaking of, after this game, the Mega Man series hit a snag. Kaiji Inafune left Capcom the next year, and various Mega Man projects were cancelled, such as Mega Man Legends 3. And for a while, the future looked bleak for the Blue Bomber. Mighty No. 9 seemed like it was going to continue the series' legacy, but that's a story for another day. However, the sales of the Legacy Collection convinced Capcom that there was an audience for Mega Man, and so Mega Man 11 is a month out at the time of this video, so here's hoping it'll be good. For now, though, let's all just enjoy what Mega Man we have and wait with anticipation for Mega Man 11.